Ball. It's always great to win a game like that. I've been fortunate being around here for a few years to play in a lot of games like that one, and to find a way to win is critical. And so really proud of that. Biggest positives going back and watching the tape was the way that we responded. That's one thing that we've taken a lot of pride in the past, especially offensively, is how we respond to adversity. And this was this year's offense, first opportunity for that. Obviously very frustrating first half. I believe we had 6 snaps, and a lot of that was on us fumbling the ball there on our first play of the second possession. But I felt like the guys did a good job. Really proud of Kelly. Got the air knocked out of him there on that one play and had to come out for a little while. And then, he showed some really good perseverance and grit coming back. And his next 2 drives in the game were the last drive of the first half, maybe 89-yard touchdown drive, and then the first drive of the second half, another touchdown drive. So I thought that was really good. I felt like we threw and caught the ball really well. That was a tough matchup. We knew those were some talented corners, very long, and because it really had to work on our releases. Felt like the guys did a good job with the releases. Felt like Kelly put the ball at just the right spot where only we could catch it. So I was pleased with that, and then really pleased with the way that we finished with a 4-minute offense there at the end. We reviewed last year, and we were in a very similar situation last year at their place, and really messed it up offensively, running out of bounds, and gave them a possession and an opportunity to go throw a deep ball in the end zone to end the game last year. So really pleased with being able to be in that same position and finish it. 2 key third down plays, and it feels great to have the ball in your hands to finish the game, especially versus a talented team like that. Plenty to coach. I think the biggest negatives starting off with the 2 turnovers, and you turn over the ball against a team like that in those kind of games, you can get beat, and something that we harp on and will continue to do, and hopefully our guys will learn from that. Then also, we got Kelly hit a little bit more than we wanted to. You got to give them credit. Very talented defensive front. Those ends were very active, and they'll make a bunch of plays this year. But our guys go against talented ends every day in practice, and we've done better, and we can do better. And I know we'll get some of that cleaned up. And then, just didn't quite have the rhythm that we wanted. Some of it was what they were doing. Some of it was a lack of communication. Had a few things where we weren't on the same page on that early third down. And so therefore, when you don't convert on third down, then it hurts your tempo. It hurts your number of plays overall. And so there's definitely some things that we can clean up and be able to learn from this one. But overall, it's the first time that a lot of those guys were in that type of situation in a big game, and you can practice it, but you really, there's no substitute for experiencing it. So it's something that we'll be able to grow from, and then also use the way that we finish there for some confidence down the road if we get put in a similar situation.
Coach, Ray had that fumble, of course, and then he came right back. He had a nice punt return, and then he made that big 30-yard catch at the first score. How much does that exemplify really his maturation from last year when he would make a mistake like that?
Yeah, and we actually talked about that. Last year he had the deal going in against Troy, and he gave up an easy touchdown, and I don't think he responded the right way the rest of the game. And that's difficult. Ray was just out there trying to make a play, and he didn't have that ball tight enough, and gives it up to them there on the 10-yard line. Fortunately, our defense held them to 3 points, and just said, "Hey, next play." And you've got the ability to go make up for that, and you can do that the rest of this game. And I could tell when he took that next punt return, the very next series, I could tell the way he was running with that ball that he knew he had a little bit of making up to do, and I felt like he did that. But it was definitely good to see, because it's what we talk to our guys about all the time. When you're playing good opponents, you're going to make mistakes. Those things are going to happen. Let's learn from it, and then how do we respond? Let's don't make one mistake lead down the road to other mistakes. And really, it's how you think and how you approach it from there on out. And so I definitely was pleased the way he responded.
When you face a team like Louisville and they got the offensive weapons they have, especially Kamara, we got a young offense. How do you keep them from not pressing and not having that where they think they got to keep up in case the defense does give up a couple scores?
Yeah, it's really not something that we talk a whole lot about. Really our goal, we're trying to obviously go out and score as many points as we can. But I think offensively as coaches, as we're game planning and doing those type of things, we kind of know the temperature of the game, what you're playing against, and there's no doubt Louisville's got an explosive offense, and I think last year, it was a great display of two explosive offenses going back and forth, and we've got a good defense, and they've got a really good defense as well. So again, it's going to be another big challenge, but I think our guys, that the message doesn't change week to week. Our message is, hey, it's about us. And, even though Auburn was very talented and did some really good things on their side, we can go back in these meetings this afternoon and show why the drive stopped. And a lot of the reasons was because of things that we didn't do correctly. And so our message this week will be the same. We're going to play very difficult environment on the road, prime time, 8 o'clock, against a very confident and talented defense. But at the end of the day, it's about what we do, how we execute, and if we do that and protect the ball, then we feel like we got a good shot in every game that we play.
Jeff, you talked about the communication issues, some struggles with rhythm at times like that. Are these things that can get cleaned up in these 4 or 5 days?
Yeah, they are. They're really things. Just we're rolling some guys up front, and one guy hears it a little bit different than the other guy heard it, and those are things that we can control. And for the most part, we've done a good job with that. We were really pleased in our opener that we did not have any of those issues. That's usually what you see a little bit in your first game, but it was at the wrong time Saturday night in a couple key situations, and so that's definitely something we got to get cleaned up, because this will be our first. Every week it's like a new challenge, right, for this new offense. And this week now we're on the road. It's going to be a loud environment, and so we've definitely got to get some of that communication stuff cleaned up, and I'm confident we will.
Going back to the environment, what are some things you have to kind of do with Kelly and make sure those guys are ready for it?
Well, I think the standard stuff that we do, we'll pump plenty of noise in here this week, and the verbal communication is definitely going to be limited because of how loud it gets there. I think the biggest thing for our guys is just being sure that we're all on the same page. Looking back, getting the signals, being able to line up, do all those type of things where it doesn't cost us a timeout or delay of game or those type of things. But I think the biggest thing for us is getting some music in here, and then just really focusing on what we're doing in our execution.
Remember the last couple of years, Wayne would say he didn't feel like he was in the game till he'd been hit 10 to 12 to 15 times, get those carries in. Is there any thought process of naming just one guy at running back and going out there and getting him lathered up to make the running game maybe a little bit more effective?
Yeah, I think those guys are so close. I don't think there's one guy out in front of the other. That could happen as the season goes, and we'll just kind of let that develop. But right now, it's a very close competition between those three, and then also, Travis is the guy that's going to get more opportunities as it goes. It's kind of a difficult situation there Saturday night in a one-possession game. It's a tough position to throw a true freshman out, especially everything that they were doing from a blitz perspective. But really those 4 guys, we've got confidence in all of them. They're going to all have their moments, and then really whoever kind of gets the hot hand is the guy that we'll lean on. But right now I think the competition is close enough that we're not in a position to just put one guy out there.
Jeff, with Dion, I'm guessing you're pretty happy with his positioning and physicality on those 50-50 balls. You talked a lot about that in August, about wanting to see that from him.
Yes, and I'll tell you the thing I'm most pleased with Dion is the way that he's graded out. Dion's always been a productive player, but up until this year he's not been a guy that's graded really well on all the details, the alignment, the assignment, and all the fundamentals that go into being a great receiver. And Dion's had 2 of the highest grades really that he's had since he's been here, and so that's something I'm really pleased with. We're challenging him. Hey, you're taking the next step. Now you're going to be a starter. You're going to be a leader. You're going to be an every down wide out. can you up your game and really improve in those areas? And he has. He's had very few minuses, and he's playing fast, and I'm very pleased with where he is. And I mean, again, those were some big battles. We won some of the matchups, and they won some of the matchups, and that's kind of what we knew going into the game. And we talk to our guys all the time that you never know when those plays are going to come that could change the outcome of the game. And a few of those 2 touchdown drives, we had some big conversions with both Dion and Ray that if we don't complete those balls, it could be a different situation. And I felt like those guys really are playing well. Those first 3, I've got a lot of confidence in them, and the next group behind them, I think, will continue to get more experience.
How much of an art is it to create separation without getting flagged for offensive pass interference, and how much do you think Dion and Ray have learned that from Mike Williams?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a battle. The college game is different from the NFL game in that respect, that they let the wideouts and DBs really battle for those balls, and it's a very fine line between a no call, a defensive PI, and an offensive PI. But the biggest thing for us is winning the release, being in the proper position, and then being strong to the ball, and really going up and attacking the football and finishing. And that was, especially the one that was on our sideline, Dion did a great job of attacking it and finishing it all the way down. And those are some of the best corners that we'll see all year.
Coach, coming in a little bit late here, but is the battle at right tackle wide open after Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of where we were coming out of fall camp, is letting those guys. It was close enough that we were going to let those guys compete on the field, and both of them have done some really good things.